Okay, so here is the third video. This is the last video and the last part that we're going to work on, and it happens to be percent. So we found the part, which is your part or your is. We found your whole, which is your whole or your of. And then now we are going to work on finding the percent. So of course, again, we have part over whole equals percent over 100. And we have is over of, which equals percent over 100. Again, these mean the exact same thing. We just have different words for them. And here we are focusing on the percent. Okay, so that means we're given both the part and the whole, and we're just finding the percent. So on number 7, it says what percent? Here is the question, what? That means that that's your x. This says of, that means this is your of, which is your whole. Is, which means this is your is, which is your part. Okay, so is 60, that means 60 goes on top, of 240, which means that goes on bottom. So we're talking about is over of. Okay, and then we have our percent over 100, which we don't have to write percent because that is our x value. We can write x over 100. Okay, so here we're multiplying. We're going to cross multiply first, which is 240x equals 60 times 100. Okay, so our first step here is multiplying 100 times 60. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, and 0 times 1 is 0. Bring 0 for a placeholder. We have 6 times 0, which is 0, 6 times 0, which is 0, and then 6 times 1. So we get 6,000 right here. 240x equals 6,000. And then our last thing that we're going to do here to solve for x is divide by 240. And we'll get x equals 6,000 divided by 240, which is probably 2 times, but let's multiply over here just to make sure. 0 times 2 is 0, and 4 times 2 is 8, and 2 times 2 is 4. 480, yeah, 2 times. Minus 480 is 0 minus 0 is 0. We have to borrow here to make that a 10 and that a 5. So 10 minus 8 is 2 and 5 minus 4 is 1. Okay, so we're going to bring this 0 down and then see how many times 240 goes into 120. So let's try 6. 240 times 6. 6 times 0 is 0, and 6 times 4 is 24. That's 12, 13, 14. Okay, so 6 times was too many, so let's try 5. 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 4 is 20, and then 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 1,200. Perfect, 5 times. Minus 1,200 is 0, and x equals 25. So oops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to grab my box and box our answer. Okay, so that is finding the percent. So 60 of 240 is 25%. So if we're saying 60 students out of 240 like the game of basketball, that would be the 25% of the population. So moving on to number 8, I want you to press pause and set this one up, and then press play once you have your proportion. Okay, so this should be your proportion. So once we have our proportion set up, what is our next move? Okay, if you said cross multiplication, you are correct. We have 200x equals 140 times 100. 200x equals 140 times 100 is 14,000. 1,000. Here is 2 zeros. I just tacked 2 zeros on the back of 140. Okay, and then our last step, everyone should know this answer by now. Our last step is to divide, yes. And x equals, okay, so 1,400 divided by 200. It goes into 1 0 times, to 4 0 times, into 140 0 times. So we're going to go off to the side. One key to know what to try is I'm going to just take the first number and say 2 goes into 14 7 times. So we're going to try 7. That's 0, 0, 14. So my 1,400, 0 left over, so it goes in 7 times. Perfect. Okay, so now you're going to do number 9 on your own, setting up the problem, solving, and then press play when you have finished. Okay, you should have gotten that x equals 54. If you did not, then you'll want to press pause and check your work against mine. And then is finding the part, the whole, and the percent. Make sure you take a picture of this page and any work that you might have on a different page if you ran out of room, and submit them online, and then you will we will practice this some more tomorrow. So if you're still a little iffy on what to do, don't worry. We're going to practice this for the next 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you have a quiz on Thursday.